So there's all the rocks done, and it's looking pretty good. But the last thing I wanted to finish off with is there's some areas that sometimes have a little too much attention once you've painted them and once you're done, and then other areas that don't have enough. Now, the two things I see with this painting is I'm very, very happy with it, but this shadowed area is drawing too much attention, and I think we could afford a little more shots of color in around here just to liven it up a little bit. So let's address the two things. Let's show how to bring up some color, and let's show how to kick back the color. Now, starting with the kickback, let's tighten right in on that puppy. All right, the blue is just a little too intense. Now, I would traditionally use an airbrush, but you don't need an airbrush at all. You know, like I say, almost every DVD I do, I tell you that I only use the airbrush because it's a convenience. You can do exactly everything I do with an airbrush with just a normal brush and using a wash or a glaze. So, if the blue is too intense, it's what I want to downtone. So usually what I'll do is I'll take whatever color's behind it, whatever color we painted on top of, which is that base blue violet, the shadow violet. So I take a little bit of that shadow violet and I water it right down. And you know what? Let's get a dish out here and I'll show you just how much I water it down. There we go. All right. So we're talking really, really liquidy here, right? And I get rid of the excess. And now what I do is I just lay that over top of the area I want to downtone. And there's way too much on there. And this is one of the big reasons why I like using my airbrush is you never get these situations. Now, with a glaze, you have to keep moving around and making sure there's not too much, or you'll get a brush stroke, and a brush stroke is what we definitely don't want. Okay, so you just keep moving it around until it dries, and you can already see that that blue just got kicked back, because what you actually did is you just made it a step closer to the color that's behind it, so it took away its intensity. Can I dry it? And you see how it just took that edge off. And the one thing I wanted to do was when I looked at the reference, let's bring that up, I could see a lot of little white speckling all in through here. So I got my spatter brush out again and I loaded up a little bit of the highlight color that was just downtoned a little bit with the brown violet base. And we're going to just sprinkle a few. And as it gets around the highlight area, I just take my finger and I downtone it so it doesn't create a hard, harsh. But you can see that speckling created a little more detail and interest in it. And then secondly, what I wanted to do was bring up the edges of these lichens a little bit more. And we're also missing one patch of a beige lichen right in around there, so let's do that. So to mix this lichen color, I took the darker violet or darker purple and added a little bit of the highlight color, and then this time a little bit of burnt sienna to give it a reddish tone to it. Okay, now the value I'm painting in here is not going to be that far away from the base that it's on. And that way it won't draw a whole heck of a lot of attention. Why it's going to draw attention is because of the color change, the hue change. So I paint in my lichen. Okay, try to give it a little bit, in some areas a little bit of a softer edge than others. And up top here is a couple of Alright, and we're going to put one over here just compositionally. It looks better. Alright. Now, all those subtle cracks that we painted, well, they have to go through the lichen too. Alright. So, we can go back to the base color that's behind it. Let's make sure this is dry.